President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim, and we are definitely in the midst of scandal after scandal with Donald Trump winding down to the big vote by the Senate, and it's a possibility they may not even vote. If Nancy Pelosi believes that she doesn't need to present that document, the House confirmation of an impeachment, to the Senate because the Senate isn't willing to do a trial, she can do something else. She can actually add to the number of impeachment charges. And guess what? There are more charges that could come. The possibility of charges so severe as rigging the election would be enough to qualify Donald Trump as a treasonous act. And if it indeed is used, we could be looking at 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7. One person said 19 different potential impeachment articles for hacking and election interference, a violation of the emoluments clause. The emoluments clause is preventing people from taking gifts, and he gets money all the time. As president, he uses the Secret Service to harvest money from his hotel rooms and his golf carts. He's made $110 million per year as president from on the backs of the American taxpayer and people that go to his hotels. It's crazy. They go to his hotel in D.C. thinking they're going to get access to him, when in fact it's just like a formality that, there's no other competition there too. And recently another building, an FBI building, was going to be offered up as a leased building like the USPS office he's leasing to use his Trump Tower Hotel in D.C. Well, Trump is apparently blocking the sale of that FBI building. That's the newest story. He's using conflict of interest, abusing a conflict of interest laws left and right to pad his own pocket and force people to stay at his hotel in D.C. Isn't that unbelievable? And some of you say, he's a businessman. What are you going to do? Yeah. What can you do? I don't know. You Trump tards, you tell me. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We've got a president who's profiting from the White House, who's working for Russia, who's getting answers from Russia whenever he has questions. And we don't even know what he's saying to Russia. He's got cell phones of his own that the NSA doesn't even have access to. When somebody overheard a conversation with President Zelensky, the whistleblower, it became a national media event, and then Donald Trump and the Republicans said, we want to get the whistleblower to testify. But nobody wants to testify. Nobody wants anyone to testify now in the Senate trial. They don't want to hear from a whistleblower now, conveniently enough. The Republicans want to just wrap this all up without any scrutiny, without any oversight, without any due process. Unbelievable the way these people are acting. They won't take on any type of witness that Charles Schumer wants to talk to. Mick Mulvaney, the chief of staff, he's got a big mouth. Trump knows that. He doesn't want him to testify. Donald McGahn, the guy who worked with the president and said that the president was trying to fire Mueller all those times, that's obstruction of justice. That's another impeachment charge. If only Donald McGahn would testify, Trump won't let him testify. Rudy Giuliani, another big mouth. Why won't he testify? Nobody in the Trump cabinet or in his inner circle wants to testify. Yet everyone is testifying about all the wrongs that Donald Trump did. And you Trump supporters sit there and go, they're all wrong. All 12 of those witnesses are wrong. Every one of them. And even Trump did what the guilty person would do, is tweeted attacks on every one of those people that testified. That's what a guilty person does. When they are guilty, they usually attack the messenger. That's what Trump did. So you're seeing the work of a man who didn't record any of his conversations with Putin all these years, 3 years now. Not one conversation, one of them is migrating forward. He's engaged in obstruction of Congress and abuse of power, and these are what he's been impeached for. But he has no proof of any tapes that he had with Putin. No proof at all. And no IRS returns either. Oh, I'm floating. Oh, Dave, you're floating. Okay, let's come on down to Earth, Dave. Earth to Dave. Yeah, try obstructing this. Anyway, this is all happening, and we're just going to sit back and watch. Meanwhile, more impeachment charges are going to be coming forth, and we will be seeing this ongoing story play out. As long as Mitch McConnell thinks that he can avoid a trial and just slam this right into the ground and put it away, act like nothing happened, as long as he's doing that and obstructing, yeah, in fact, Mitch McConnell is acting as an obstructionist. That's right. As long as he continues doing that, the stronger the case against Trump will be. That's just the reality. So you Republicans can sit back and watch the case the Democrats are making get better and better and better until we've got all the hit points down, and everybody will see exactly what Donald Trump has been doing over the past 3 years. So I'm just going to sit back and watch. Thank you. Yes, in fact, I am a prepper. I'm a survivalist. And I want to show you something I worked on recently. I went to a Walmart store for Christmas and kind of picked out some things that would be kind of cool to have in a survival kit. And I'll play you a little bit of my old survival video from the old days. And I'll just show you this new item I put together out of a Walmart. I just went to the Walmart section camping and pieced this together. But this is my old survival video. I'll play a portion of it. This is from 2010.
Hi, my name is David John Sponheim, and what you're about to see is how to make an urban survival kit on the fly in less than 10 minutes. Starting with your clothes, okay? Now what I've done here is I've pretty much double layered my clothing, triple layered my clothing, so that we have maximum clothes when you go out the door. Now, if you're traveling in a situation, you've got to be able to be mobile. And that means that you've got to be able to handle your clothes, keep them warm, and keep them on your body. Now, everybody's got a backpack. If you got a backpack like this is a perfect urban survival kit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to pack it and what you need. Okay? Starting with the number one essential ingredient, water. You've got to have water. So what I've got here is one of these water bottles that filters on the fly. This will take swamp water and turn it into fresh drinking water. You got to buy one of these. They're readily available at any survival store, any outfitter in America. Okay, put that in the backpack. Then you got, this is an essential thing, you got a kinetic flashlight. You'll be able to shake it up. You can get flashlight power anytime without batteries. Fantastic. Okay, then, it's absolutely essential that you have a cooking supply. I recommend getting sterno. Okay? That goes in the base of your pack sack. Matches, really important. That can go in the front of your backpack so it's easy to get to. Get a lot of matches. You're going to need a cooking device, and I urge you to get something like this. This will actually turn into a frying pan. It gives you the ability to have a frying pan and a kettle all in the very same kit, okay? You can make a lot of things with this stuff. All right, that basically is the start of what you've got. You've also got a desperate need for an air mask. This is a 3M N95 mask, which is recommended to protect against viruses. So in the event of a disaster, you're going to need an air mask. It's really important you have at least one of these. You put
Okay, yeah. Exactly. See that air mask N95? Yeah, I'm going to show you what I put together. I found that the N95 by 3M was the best air mask overall for everything from viruses to air particulates, anything you'd run into in a highway. Yeah, and this just came in, this ravioli dish. Oh no, it's the alphabet soup dish. Oh, that's pretty funny. Somebody reversed it. They created Epstein didn't kill himself and then reversed the picture. That's hilarious. With the alphabet. Anyway, moving on. This is the 3M N95 mask, which I think if the American people had these things distributed, it has to have the blowout hole. There it is. With the type of potential for a pandemic happening, if the CDC would distribute these to the American people in, say, 3 packs or 5 packs, we would be able to actually be prepared for a disaster.
Angela.
We don't take that picture, no. And this is the N95 mask. Okay, that's just one of the things I want to show you. That could definitely go in a mask. But I put together this amazing little, yeah. These things are like $5 at Walmart. And they're fully waterproof, watertight case. And they're super easy. They're acrylic, so they're super easy to open up. You can put your cell phone in this in a disaster. It'll keep it perfectly fine. And in it, I put a few things like the CBD oil that I got for my sister. That's all lotion that you would use in case you have a skin disorder or anything. On the, it's almost like a medical thing. I put a no-seam mask I got at Walmart. This prevents you from getting mosquito bites if you're in a really bad area on the East Coast in the summer. And this is the funniest thing. It's called Dude Wipes. And there's like 18 of these things. You can wipe your whole body with these things, and they're pretty low. Yeah, there's not many dangerous chemicals in them. Chamomile and glycerin, and yeah, it's pretty low toxicity. And then I even fit a whistle in here. Isn't this cool? It's a 4-in-1 whistle. It's got a magnifier, a thermometer, a compass, and a whistle all in one. The back has, those types of facilities. But you could put anything in here. You could even put a little lighter in here, If you need a lighter with a light on the end, that's a light. A lighter with a light on the end, that's kind of cool. So all these things could be stored with you on a road trip, and you wouldn't even have to worry about it. Just put it in your trunk. Pretty cool idea. I just thought I'd do that for Christmas. And, I did with barring the CBD oil, which my sister got for me. Now, here in Washington, we can get that stuff. But barring that, the total amount was under $10 for that kit of those things you can get at Walmart right now. Things you'd carry with you on the highway and byway to prepare for inevitable problems. And there are other things you get, sewing kits, medical kits. You can fit them in there, for real. All nice and compact, ready to go. No problem. Nice little stocking stuffer, I thought. Okay, so what's up to, we're talking about technology tonight, right? Syria accuses Americans of supporting ISIS after the U.S. helped free most of the country from the group. Okay. Syria can be convinced of anything. We just are abandoning Syria to allow Russia to take over. Exactly. You could put condoms in there. Dude wipes and condoms. There you go. And you're thinking of dried endami, wasabi beans. There you go. And old school hobos swear by sterno. And in my video, I showed you sterno.
Put this in the side with a flashlight. All right. Also, bring a washcloth because you're going to need to wash yourself. Cat washing is what you do when you're basically in a survival situation. You wet the washcloth and wipe yourself. It's great thing. You're also going to need some sort of a Swiss Army knife.
Anything could go in that little packet. Pretty cool, huh? All right, thank you for letting me follow up on my 2010 video 9 years ago when I made that about surviving. So one of the lawyers for Rudy Giuliani's thugs, Lev Parnas, has asked to withdraw because the guy doesn't have any money. So apparently Giuliani had these thugs working on the side, probably not too rich. These guys were doing whatever Giuliani wanted them to do, but he's got no attorney now.
Many false things have been said about me and my family in the press and media recently. I look forward to defending myself vigorously in court, and I'm certain that in the time, truth will be revealed, and I will be vindicated. In the end, I put my faith in God. Thank you.
What was the nature of your work for Rudy Giuliani, Mr. Parnas?
I managed a lot of problems Mr. Giuliani was having, you know what I'm talking about? Who knows what's going on with that, but he doesn't look like he's going to have any representatives, so maybe he'll represent himself. Working with foreign donations, making connections, that's what these guys were doing for Giuliani. And I might want to reiterate that Giuliani or Trump or William Barr have not filed a single case against Joe Biden. There's no charges out there against anybody officially in the Democratic Party. Donald Trump has done nothing to stop the deep state. Any investigations into the FBI have proven to be relatively fruitless because the FBI admitted to wrongdoing recently, but in no way does it change what happened and how the Russians had influenced the election. So with Trump, it's a lot about nothing. With the Democrats, it's an actual impeachment charge against Donald Trump, which passed the House. That's enough to make you wonder what's really going on here. Well, that's a good time to ask yourself, do you need a Russian bride? And we've got a few that are available. Apparently, one looks like Mitch McConnell down below. And there's one that right next to me that looks like Donald Trump. Very beautiful young ladies. Willing to work for a good amount of Russian money. But this is the really serious part of this entire problem is these people are in cahoots. This quadrangle of conspirators are working together with Russia. and are slowly manipulating our government and controlling the outcome of this hearing. Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham can pretty much rig the votes, except there's a couple of moderate Republicans that are questioning the idea that Mitch McConnell could make a decision and have Trump weigh in on this while Trump is being impeached. It's absurd. So apparently Mitch McConnell has gotten away with this so long, and so has Lindsey Graham, and so has William Barr, that they feel that it's okay to just continue this reign of terror over our national laws on justice and the impeachment process and continue to work for Russia. I cry foul, and I think all of these people should be impeached, every one of them, not just Donnie, Moscow Mitch, William Barr, and Lindsey Graham. All of them should be impeached. Thoughts, Mr. David? Okay. Oh my God, look at this, The Nation. Check this out. You know how these Democrats are pitching this communist agenda of getting rid of your property? Check this out. The Nation is saying, if we want to keep cities safe in the face of climate change, we need to seriously question the ideal of private home ownership. They don't want anyone to have a house. This is the communist influence over the Democratic Party. It's unbelievable. I don't know if there's a picture coming or not. I'll just keep it open, I guess. Talk about insane. Thank you. Okay, now glyphosate is a serious disorder that many people have collected millions of dollars in exposure to Roundup. One guy got severe non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and managed to conclude in a case that it was causing, the cause was Roundup. And the settlement was huge. It started at $200 million, at $289 million, and eventually it settled at about $69 million. Monsanto, aka Bayer, had to pay out. So Bayer acquired over $54 billion worth of potential liabilities when they picked up Monsanto's Roundup. So now Monsanto has attempted the defense that would negate all the Roundup caused cancer lawsuits, or the glyphosate caused cancer lawsuits. If successful, it will be awfully difficult for any other lawsuits to proceed. Yeah. Not at all. In fact, Roundup breaks down your immune system. It's known to cause cancer in laboratory animals, according to California studies. Monsanto, acquired last year by Bayer AG, is the subject of literally thousands of lawsuits alleging that its flagship product Roundup causes cancer. The first crop of those lawsuits went to trial this year and have not gone well for the agrochemical giant. Courts have awarded settlements in the tens of millions of dollars against Monsanto, but Monsanto this week asked for something unusual, a Hail Mary that, if successful, might negate all of those pending lawsuits. Roundup is the brand name for a broad-spectrum herbicide called glyphosate. Roundup is hugely successful, used everywhere from backyard gardens to 1,000-acre monocrop operations, but it's been repeatedly linked to causing cancer. Most importantly, in the World Health Organization's 2015 classification. Monsanto has vigorously argued that the link is inconclusive, and that's sort of true, though much of the research saying it's not a carcinogen was funded by Monsanto itself. Monsanto and Bayer have engaged in widespread attempts to defame and cause doubt about the World Health Organization's cancer research arm, which made the 2015 classification, as calling it carcinogenic. In any case, one of the first lawsuits to go to court was the case of Edwin Hardeman, who sued Monsanto alleging that his non-Hodgkin's lymphoma was caused by glyphosate, and that company deliberately misled the public about the carcinogenic effects of the product. The initial hearing found a jury award Hardeman $80 million, like I said. Oh, excuse me. It was reduced again a few months later by a trial judge to $25 million. Oh my goodness. The crux of Monsanto's argument is the EPA has repeatedly stated that glyphosate is not carcinogenic or a risk to human health. Therefore, had Monsanto included a label about glyphosate potentially causing cancer, it would have been in violation of the EPA, and thus Monsanto cannot be held responsible for following the law. The Trump administration has announced support for Monsanto's court challenge. Trump supports Monsanto and Roundup in this case. Huh. That's amazing. Well, for one, this story about Edwin Hardeman it doesn't make sense. There's something wrong here. This is all wrong. His compensation went from 289 million to 80 million, and now it's reduced to 25 million. I'm just kind of in a state of shock. Oh, this is not the case I thought it was. Okay, this is a different case. Yeah, the one I thought definitely was 289 million reduced down to 80 million or 79 million. This is an $80 million settlement reduced down to 25 million on some technicality. All right, so essentially the argument that they're bypassing at Monsanto is that their research indicated that it was not carcinogenic. Now, being Monsanto paid for the research, they would be open to public scrutiny of that research, and any strong scientific peer review study of their research, if it found any violations, would be the smoking gun here that would rule this as inadmissible in court. So I think more research needs to be done on the research they did. If they say it wasn't a carcinogenic, the onus is upon the people accusing them to show that their study was improper. So there you have it. We'll see what happens because we don't really know. We don't take any movie stuff here. No, that's a Russian roulette. You're not allowed to post anything like that. That's just wrong. There's one man who lives in this Australian outback in a ghost town. He's the only one left after asbestos contamination. He's been out there for years and doesn't have cancer. Well, no one's arguing that hey, Cal Worthington and his dog Spot. No one's arguing that there is a genetic support for the argument that our bodies can be pretty strong. I mean, there have been people that smoked cigarettes for years and lived to be over 100. The oldest man, world's oldest man, is 114 years old, and he is still smoking. He's smoking hot. Yeah, Newsweek has it. %of all lung cancer is caused by smoking. Okay. In early May, Freddie Blum celebrated his 114th birthday. Previously held by Violet Moss Brown. There's no picture of the guy. Well, that's not acceptable. Let's take a look at Freddie Blum and what he looks like after smoking all those years. Here he is. Oh, he's still smoking. South African Freddie Blum still alive at 114. That's pretty amazing. So, I mean, it all talks, we're talking about, the physical stamina of your body and willing to, how much Roundup can you take? Well, you're not supposed to deliver Roundup without a face mask on. So if you're out there breathing it all the time, that could be dangerous. Yeah. I'm going to have to mute you on that. It's already been done. Yeah, the Daily Pantry is a guy who does just that. And I would rather go with a guy who does that than an organization that is, making a joke at it.
Around the internet, we think you may have missed, they think are worthy of sharing. All right, you've probably heard of the, she said, of $250 through Thrivent Financial to be used for a community service project. She was just trying to figure out which one it was. And then boom, this came to her. She said it was pretty easy to do. This one's in front of a church in Fayetteville, and she said she'd seen a high turnover of shelf-stable food items, toiletries, paper goods, peanut butter and jelly.
Isn't that great? You know, people put food in there. It's kind of like a box you put books out for kids to read. Yeah, it's a daily pantry. So I'm going to mute you for a while so you realize that this expired food story that we talk about in our show, it's no joke. The government's already said that if you got an expiration date on your cans, don't throw them away. They've openly said that those expiration dates are completely random and don't even have any verifiability as to, you know, whether they're safe or not. Yeah, so this is not a joke, man. We're talking about eating good food and making sure it's healthy.
Late last year, the Miami
18 minutes about the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein's survivors and how it led to the sweetheart deal that he got in 2007. I'll take a look at that. 18 minutes of that. Thanks. Thanks, Cranky Beans. Please, Mr. David, you got a link too? I wonder if that Freddy guy inhales those cigarettes. I never inhaled.
So I found a Japanese KFC. I've actually been asked to try out this Japanese KFC, so I'm gonna try it out.
Oh, I've seen this guy before, yeah. He does a KFC and all right. Okay, I'll play that for you tonight. Final Dream. Australia's ghost town, the contaminated city of Wittenoom. Wittenoom documente. Put on the Barbie. We'll watch that tonight. Asbestos and how one man is living in an asbestos contaminated region. Thank you. You put your link where your mouth is. You do not like Russians. Why don't you consider going to Russia for a vacation or trip to visit one of Trump's many towers and visit many of Trump's palaces? Does anybody secretly think that Donald Trump is influencing Russian politics? I don't think he is. How old is my cat in human years? A cat age calculator. This is what I need, something high tech so I can evaluate my cat's age. Your cat is currently 4 years old and your cat is 32 in human years. Excellent. I'm trying to put my calculator together. Okay, so I've got a cat that's 17 years old. She's 84 years old, honey. Our cat is 84 years old. Oh my God. She's got the power. Oh my God. She's an amazing cat, I'll tell you. Man, she still runs around the house too at 84 years old. Can you imagine? Like, amazing. Smazing. Smazing and smazing. So yes, the Democrats will be coming up with new impeachment charges. Good to know. The House Counsel Douglas has said in a filing in federal court that a second impeachment could be necessary if the House uncovers new evidence that Trump attempted to obstruct investigations of his conduct. Later made the argument as part of an inquiry by the D.C. Court of Appeals into whether Democrats still need testimony from former White House counsel Don McGahn after the votes last week to charge Trump with abuse of power and obstruction of justice. If McGahn's testimony produced new evidence supporting the conclusion that Trump committed impeachable offenses that are not covered by the articles approved by the House, the committee will proceed accordingly, including, if necessary, by considering whether to recommend new articles of impeachment. Absolutely. And this is the quintessential point. He refuses to let Donald McGahn testify. When he already testified that Trump wanted to fire Mueller. Many times he said, I want to fire Mueller, 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 I want to fire Mueller. Ivanka, I want to fire Mueller. Well, the fact is, that's a impeachable offense. That's obstruction of justice. Just like his firing of Comey and then turning to Lester Holt saying, "Oh, I'm so glad I'm ending the Russian investigation." So this is exactly what's happening. I'm not going to bring Amber in the show. She's sleeping right now. Cats sleep 18 hours a day, so it makes them much more rested. That's how my cat's alive still. She sleeps all the time. And the CBD oil is helping a lot. She has a lot of ailments that I think would be debilitating for her if she didn't have the CBD oil. Arthritis in her lower body. You could tell she's kind of stiff in the legs. And then feline Parkinson's. She's got a little shaking going on. And the CBD oil, amazingly enough, prevents that. And I think if she was able to take this CBD oil, I'd give it to her, but it says do not ingest. Do not eat, right there. But this is mostly for topical use. Yeah. It's got 200 milligrams of CBD. That's pretty good. It's a high ratio. It's good for skin problems. They say that CBD oil is 90% effective in dealing with skin cancer. Seriously. No, I am afraid. I don't want to eat CBD oil. No. I don't know what it's mixed with, but I wouldn't mind putting it on topically if I had a blemish or something. Viv! Survival ready. I think it's $5.98 for those things. For $5.68 at Walmart. You want to know dog years now? It's probably similar to cat years. Da, 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 da. Boy, she's looking great. How old is the queen now? In human years? In reptilian years, how old is she? In human years, she's what, 96, I believe? In reptilian years, she's 1,100 years old. Wow. She looks a lot like me. Have you noticed that? Or I say that about everybody. Some people think just because I do a show, it doesn't mean I'm into body dysmorphia. No, I'm not trying to pretend to be the queen, but you must admit that I do look a lot like her. Or at least the mini-me. I mean, I can see how I could be made out to look like the queen. Let's see. This is not endorsing in any way transgenderism. Bear in mind. She has more of a Jewish nose, I think. I have more of a German nose. I would love to have a time to talk to you in person, David. You could share about my stories. How I've adapted to my new diet plan, and I avoid genetically modified anything. Yes. I do look a lot like her, it's true. I mean, I know. I'm not her son, okay? She could be a great aunt, yeah. You know, I have English in my background, you know. My mother's side were English. They came over here on the Planter, the ship right after the Mayflower. You know, in San Francisco right now, you can earn more than $184,000 a year in salary just cleaning up feces on the street. Last year alone, in Nancy Pelosi's district, they cleaned up $750,000 they spent just hiring guys to walk around with plastic bags picking up feces. Or some of the homeless people are kind enough to offer that fecal matter in a safe and sane way in a nice big black hefty bag. Then there was that woman who had a homeless guy, slew diarrhea at her, right at her face. And he called her names. And then she had to go be checked out by the hospital. Now she's got to be checked out for all kinds of Hep C and everything. Isn't that sad? Anyway. That's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. Hey, we never did get that information about John F. Kennedy from Donald Trump. Remember when there was a case where George H.W. Bush was alive and we couldn't present the information about the CIA? Yeah, well, surely you remember that. Dave? Dave? Can you hear me, Dave? It's really a new world order. A new world order. 1,000 points of light. I don't understand how come we never got that information. There's about 50 pages of files that are still sealed by the CIA about JFK's assassination. You'd think we'd find that out. And he's no longer living, and Trump isn't using that as an excuse anymore. So where is that information about Lee Harvey Oswald being a CIA agent, a massive cover-up by the Warren Commission? Where is that info? How come we haven't gotten it? I don't know what's going on with him. He's no longer alive, well, I'm so sorry to hear that. If only we had tried him when he was alive. I don't know what he was doing to himself, but is that really relevant? Well, I guess we'll never get to the actual story of JFK's assassination. Why bother, right? Why are you suing ticking time bags? We're not going to press charges against Trump supporters. Please, Mr. David is nuts. He's not going to be able to press charges against Trump supporters, okay? Not going to happen. It's bad enough you've had robots as presidents over the years, you know? Look at this guy. Well, let's be clear. Aren't you glad you're not that audio animatrized robot? Thank goodness. Thank goodness you're not. The look of a robot is in your eyes tonight. The look of a robot. Well, let's be clear. I'm not Barack Obama. I'm broken St. Obama's. My fellow Americans, this man, David Sponheim, has been trying to impersonate me for many years. I did not have sexual relations with Larry Sinclair in a limousine in Gurnee, Illinois. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, do you ever wonder, like, what is going on? I mean, like, do you ever, like, wake up or do something and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, look at this. We got a person over in the chat room over at iVlog. He said, if Oswald did it, case closed. Why need to hide any documents? How can there be any national security implications? What are you, brain dead? Oswald worked for the CIA for 4 to 5 years. That's pertinent, and it was never exposed in the Warren Commission report. Not one iota of that information got out. You have the audacity to say that Oswald may have done it? That's pretty funny. No. Even John Kerry said there was probably a second shooter. Warren Commission was a slam dunk case. It was closed. You know who closed the Warren Commission? Gerald Ford was the last congressman to sign off on it. And look what they gave him. The presidency. You shouldn't be tired of this life. There's so many fun things to do. I'm going to bring you to my motivational speaker, Sarah, who's been following all kinds of guides to improving her life and has done a great job. So maybe you can listen to her for a while.
Well, one of the best guides to improving your life is to have an attitude of gratitude.
Attitude of gratitude.
What are you guys all thankful? What are the things for which you're thankful?
Food in the refrigerator.
Food in the refrigerator is good.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that.
A great relationship with David, great friendships. Those would be on a couple of my top things. I would say a great house to live in, a job which I love. I totally love my job. Yeah. I have a lot to be for which I'm thankful. Look up at the clouds, yes. The clouds and realize life is good. I even had a chemtrail on Christmas. Haha. Well, that's what David would say. Well, feel thankful towards yourself. If you think so, Trump Tardo, that's fine. You can believe that. But I would say still be thankful that you're alive. You can be thankful you don't have to be thankful to a God per se. You can just be thankful the universe exists, that you exist. You can be thankful that I exist to listen to you say you don't want to be here anymore. Where would you rather be? I mean, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. If you could do anything, what would you do? Hello, fake news CNN 1. What about Michelle? David thinks Michelle is a guy. Yes, Michelle Obama. Happy 2020, another brother. A merry belated Christmas to you as well. I'm sorry you don't want to be here anymore. Are you saying in my chat room or like in life? I mean, that's pretty depressing of its life. I say, there's been times in my past when I felt down and sad and probably didn't want to be here. And what I have realized that I am here for a reason, and the big reason is to help others. Ever since you've ridden a motorcycle, you look up and see the sky you were never able to see when you were driving in a car. I'm sorry you had a rotten Christmas, Anita. Oh, you had a stomach bug? I'm sorry to hear it. Well, maybe Anita's here for me, Cal Worthington. Aw, thanks. My dogs don't cry and another brother are going to be friends. It's so good to have friends in the world. I'm really glad that I was able to spend today with some friends. We went and watched a movie. We went and watched Little Women. But then we went out to dinner and we just talked and talked and talked. And I felt like it seemed like the next thing I know, I think the movie was probably over at like 3:30-ish. Maybe before that, because we started at 12:45. So maybe 3:30-ish. And the next thing I know, it's like 6:30. So I had to call David and be like, oops, I'm leaving the restaurant now, like 3 hours later. Because time with those kinds of friends where you spend 3 hours, but it feels like it was an hour. It's pretty interesting. Well, you have the room to chat with. I'm sorry that you don't have the friends to communicate with. Your hubby bought you a book called How to Get Love Back for Christmas. Well, I would say you should start with a list of things that for which you're thankful. What are the things that make you happy that you're thankful for, Anita? Yes, my friend has met David. David did not go with us today. Oh. If you're a human, you're given all the tools you need to survive. My goodness, my dogs don't cry. I don't like that. Anita, oh, Cal, I'm sorry you didn't get anything for Christmas, if that's what you're saying. He says, at least you got something, Anita. None of us got anything. Wow. Or not all of us got stuff. I'm sorry. One thing nothing, you haven't had a laugh in 30 years? Maybe, yes, shall we tell you a joke? What used to make you laugh? Family's supposed to be more present. Well, maybe there's other people out there without family and you can make more friends. You don't remember what used to make you laugh. There has to be something, like, I would say there's something for that you can be happy about. I mean, one, you have a husband. That should be something to be thankful for. And it sounds to me like your husband takes care of you. I would definitely tell your husband thank you. Merry Christmas, another brother, no problem. Wait, what? 204, you think love between a woman and a man is doomed to misery or immorality? What? What? Oh, you say love and sexual desire stand in contradiction. You don't think you can have sexual desire? You don't think that you would have sexual desire if you love someone? Well, there is more to life than sex, Anita. There is companionship. I'm sorry that your husband's having sex with other women, but you say you can't have sex anyway. Is there other ways that you could please him? Probably so. Is morning the best time, Cal Worthington? Maybe that's my issue. Morning, okay. All right. I always leave. Usually I leave for work in the morning, but do you want to be with someone else? Do you think there's someone else out there for you, Anita? Yeah, or like Chicken says. But I don't know if a well-adjusted person would just move back with family. I mean, her husband has been taking care of her while she's been ill. And whereas her family doesn't necessarily seem to be taking care of her. Well, I don't think, you know what, Anita? I think you need to start appreciating yourself. If you don't love yourself, then it's very difficult for other people to love you. So you need to start appreciating and loving yourself. Oh, good, Ticken. Okay, good. You love yourself. Good. Yeah, I think it is important to take care of family, but I also think, I think we have to take care of ourselves, at least emotionally. And if you don't take care of yourself, then other people will end up having to take care of you. If you want, Sosadi, I don't know. You want to die alone? Being abused in a Virginia nursing home? How about being taken care of in a Virginia nursing home? Not abused. How am I home wrecking on the internet? 204. I'm talking to someone in the Vaughn live chat. Yes, if you look like a gangster, others won't take you seriously. True. Yeah, you have to groom yourself and take care of yourself and take care of other people. I would say provide service to other people. Be of service. Be kind. Well, is it really about, I think you're looking for some payback, like, oh, I'll only be kind if I'm appreciated. You're a support worker carer for 3 years. Did you like your work? Or did you find it too difficult? You don't want to give anymore? You just want to be a taker? The giving never ends. But takers never change either. I am a teacher, and you're right, revenge is not my duty. I don't think I would be good at it. If your life was over, you wouldn't be here. So obviously your life is not over. So stop feeling sorry for yourself and start taking care of yourself. Start appreciating the things that you have in life. There are people in the world worse off than you. No matter how sucky your life may be right now, you have access to the internet and people to talk to. That is something to be appreciated. I appreciate talking to you all. So, as my dad would used to say, no need to throw a pity party. start showing appreciation for things that you have in your life. Or not. You can totally feel bad for yourself, but I'll feel completely happy. It's not a perfect world. You're right, another brother. You said it right. If we had a perfect life, life might be boring. Yeah, so I do think that it's very important to I'll just speak for myself and talk about the things that I'm appreciative of. I'm very appreciative to have all of you talking to me on the internet. That was one thing. I remember I was feeling very depressed before I had the internet and a chat room to talk to people. And even after I found a chat room to talk to people, and then I lost the internet. Anyway, so I'm very happy to be able to talk to all of you. I am happy that I reconnected with family, even though we're still kind of finding our way again. It's been interesting because like I had been out of touch with my thanks another brother. I had been out of touch with a couple of my siblings for a while. And I reconnected with them this year. And so that's been good. We're still not super close. We don't call each other every day or even every month or whatever. But we do talk on Facebook occasionally, kind of. Thank you, Sosadi, for being my friend. One of the things, like, recently I was feeling like I should have more friends. But then when I spent time with my friends today and I was like, whoa, where'd 3 hours go? I think I have just the right amount of friends because because if I had more friends, then I would be spending more time talking to them and I wouldn't be spending time doing other things. I've been with David for 20 years, Cal Worthington, and, well, short answer, no, I don't talk to any of my exes on Facebook. I wouldn't even know where to find any of my exes, even if I could, because Facebook did not exist when I had boyfriends before David. So, and I don't even talk to my old friends that I had before I met David. I do have family, but that's about all I talk to. And then I have some new friends, but anyway. What is XSK apostrophe D? Ext. Yeah. That's kind of how David feels. Not that he was ever a drinker. He never has been since I've known him. And I've known him for 20 years. So, but his friends from college all seem to continue to drink. Another brother, I'm popping between reading your chat and Vaughn Live chat. I also have YouTube chat open, but nobody talks in there. And I pop between Twitch and Periscope, but nobody talks over there either. So, but it is good if you don't want to drink to not talk to people who drink. Hello.
All right.
Yes, I know you're abnormal.
I noticed that, they sell these LED lights like crazy at Costco, they're at Walmart. These things are selling like hotcakes, except this is the early model. And you'll notice that the early model had opaque shells over it. Now the ones they're selling now in the markets have no plastic over it. They cut the cost of the plastic and they just have it open the LED lights. And
shall I look for that on Amazon or something?
No, they're just. It turns out that open LED lights are actually hard on the eyes, and these ones with plastic over them, like I have here, are actually safer. And there's no warnings about looking at LED lights. There's nothing on the box that I can see. It's like, warning, don't look at the LED light. Nothing like that. But apparently it's dangerous to look at the LED lights, especially with magnifyings on them.
Well, I would say that you can stop smoking if you want to.
Oh yeah, you really have to want to.
Well, I know of 3 people that have stopped smoking in my life.
Yep.
I'll tell you the story of all 3. One guy was smoking that I know of. Actually, I don't know him, but I heard the story. He was smoking and he was like, man, I wish I could stop smoking. And one day he got this cold and he was coughing and just, when you get a cold. And he was hacking, coughing, and smoking because he was so addicted. And he just had this vision of himself when he got to be an older person, old man, still smoking and coughing and hacking and doing that every day, not just when he got a cold. He's like, and decided right then and there to quit, and he never started again.
That I can definitely relate. I've seen people who have colds who smoke.
Congratulations, My Dogs Don't Cry quit nicotine last March. Nice.
How many of you used to smoke the vaporizers with fruity vapes and now are back to cigarettes? Press 1.
Or quit nicotine, quit chewing, and yeah.
If you're no longer able to get your fruity vapes and you're smoking cigarettes now, press 1. Cal Worthington and his dog Spot. If you want to go see Cal, go see Cal. If you want to buy a car, go see Cal.
I knew of another person who smoked cigarettes until they got bladder cancer.
Oh my goodness.
And then they got they went on, they didn't think it helped to hear them tell it. They just woke up one day and didn't want a cigarette, but I think that they were on this mood altering thing for cigarettes, and that I think really helped them quit.
Oh,
I forgot what it was. It's a drug that they give you.
Oh, okay.
Supposed to like lower your anxiety or something.
So you don't have the heebie-jeebies, the cravings? Because there is a strong
something
nicotine.
like that. Yeah.
Nicotine has a strong effect. I was addicted when I was born.
Yeah.
But I didn't go through the withdrawal reaction that people
They said they had really bad dreams on whatever that drug was. I forget.
Oh, really? The drug that calms them down. I don't know what it is. But there are drugs. There's Nicorette gum. There's patches that you can get with nicotine in it now. As a baby, I didn't have all that. My mom smoked 10 cigarettes a day when she carried me, and when I was born, I went through withdrawals. The first couple of weeks of my life were pretty tough. Yeah.
Is this it?
It was tough. And my mom used to brag that, I've only smoked 10 cigarettes a day, Dave. Any amount of cigarettes makes that child addicted to the nicotine in them. So I used to wonder why the smell of ashtrays appealed to me. I never understood that. I didn't lick the ashtray, thankfully. But I always liked the smell of an ashtray. It was the weirdest thing. And of course, my mother smoked during those years too, so I was always around her. She smoked for 55 years.
Then I know someone who smoked cigarettes and then they just switched to marijuana. I don't know if that is
Yes, LED lights are dangerous for the eyes. Exactly. So
good.
some people who
How
switch.
long is that? Is that a 43 inch?
Yeah, it is.
Is it 43 inches? Does it say? Oh, I thought it said down there.
I am not seeing the length of this yet. Here it is, 42 inches by 3 inches. So it's not 43 inches. Maybe the box is.
I think this is it.
It's Cooper lighting? No, this is MET-LED. MET-LED, Metalux. How many lumen shop light hours is that one? 3,200?
Yeah.
Then yeah, that looks like it. You gonna get a second one, you think?
I don't know. I'm just
You could.
saying that they do have them.
We have a lighting area that this would go perfectly in. And they do fit up in that area, but we'd have to run a line.
I just looked up that name, Metalux.
Metalux. And that came up.
3200, and this came up.
Perfect. Yeah, that's mine. I paid 20. I don't think it's worth buying another one. I just found it interesting that they're getting rid of all the covers for these things to cut the cost. And LED lights are now down to like $13.99. They're trying to sell more of them. And I've seen people walk out of stores with 20 or 30 of these things and put them up in their, warehouse or whatever. And they're great. They have great longevity, but there's no disclaimer about looking at them. I don't think we need to picture that. That's not something we need to fantasize about. Shelley. Wow. But
It wasn't Shelley saying it. It was another brother.
But she's just laughing at it now. She thinks it's funny.
Well,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not in any way into. Sarah has never smoked marijuana.
I never want to.
I never wants
I don't
to.
need to smoke marijuana to have a good time.
She could just have a nice Cobb salad in front of her with avocados. That'd be enough.
I know.
That
At
must have
first
been
I
good.
was saying, I was thinking, I would like some more friends. But then after I spent today with my friends, I thought, I have enough friends.
Yeah.
Because if I had more friends, I wouldn't get anything done.
It's true.
It's like,
Yeah, it's
I'd
fun.
spend too much time with them and hours would go by.
I have my imaginary friends, and they keep me busy. Bless you. Bless you. Okay, well, thank you.
and Anita got upset because I said stop having a pity party.
Well, they like to wallow in their pity. It's part of their victimhood. They've established strong victimhood. Let's give them that. Free will and all that. Thank you, Sarah.
Whatever.
Well, it's their choice to be victims. But you all need some encouragements, that's for sure. And Mr. Rogers is just the guy to do it. I have not seen the picture of Mr. Rogers. I would like to see Tom Hanks, but I'm afraid I don't want to watch his show because he's ruining my image of Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, help me. Won't you be my neighbor? Hey, neighbor, how are ya? Would you like to say Russian hacking and election interference? Can you say that? Mr. Trump, can you say denuclearization? North Korea, what was the Christmas surprise after all? Surprise! Did Kim Jong-un have a Christmas surprise after all? Oh, really? Somebody copied and bootlegged the Mr. Rogers movie? Wow. I would never commit any legal act of download. No. I'll wait for it to be released on my social credit system that's authorized me to look at it. Man, I've heard about China. It's crazy, all these things that are going on. People are walking around the streets getting facial recognition. Can you imagine walking around the streets getting a facial recognition? Can you imagine that? And then they catch you jaywalking with your facial recognition? This is wrong. This is all wrong. They should be in school. I can't imagine it for America. And that's why I believe that this third party will stand up to the cybernetic space age state of totalitarian dictatorial government. Well, as Ronald Reagan said it, the problem with government is government. We need to make government not get in our face and not tag us for just walking across the street. No harm done. I mean, come on. Now, you're the one that ran with that, Cal Worthington. I'd only set that up for you to run with. It's kind of like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. You know, it's not like Jerry had to act like a fool. Dean Martin just did it so well. He acted so straight. It was great. We don't need to be more like China. China is all screwed up. And let me put a disclaimer on this. This is fake news. China is all screwed up. This is fake news. I don't want to in any way get into heat with President Xi Jinping over a condemnation of the dictatorial rule they have over Hong Kong, but I got to tell you, it's their obligation to follow the law and the treaty. And if Xi Jinping can't obey the treaty where they have self-rule in Hong Kong till 2047, then shame on you, Xi Jinping. Shame on you. Honor the treaty and then no problemo. Everything is beautiful in its own special way. Yes, wouldn't it be great if we had actual testing of the waters and oceans off the Pacific coast? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Yeah, if only we had real live testing of radiation in our waters. Wouldn't that be great? If only someone could just do that. The human race seems so doomed. I don't know, man. We need to check the radiation levels, that's for dang sure. Now, I could do it myself with my radiation meter, but I don't want to. Here's Bernie Sanders with his famous saying, a man goes home and masturbates his typical fantasy. A woman on her knees, a woman tied up, a woman abused. A woman enjoys intercourse with her man as she fantasizes being raped by 3 men simultaneously. That's the man who wants to run for president, folks. Have you ever seen a bigger pervert in your life than Bernie Sanders? I mean, come on. He doesn't even do socialism well. You're fired. You're fired. Yeah, he's not even good at socialism. Isn't that right, Hillary? You're right, David. He's not a good socialist. Okay. The Tai Chi's great. I know. How dare you? Oh, you're back to driving trucks again? You don't have any hemorrhoids, do you? Yeah. 80,000 pounds on wheels. I hear you, brother. A lot of big time I guess you call it stress. Somebody said, Dave, are you stressed? Well, when I look at Chris Farley and how easy he was with his body, how could anybody be stressed? Here's a guy who totally relaxed, you know. You need power. You need money. Your thing is you need money. You're like so many people in the world who need money. You haven't figured out how to live in the middle of nowhere on nothing. You need to keep those donuts flowing like this one with, yeah. New Jersey donuts are flowing. Well, serious guy, for one, that's not very good thing to talk about in our chat room at Twitch. In case you didn't notice, this is just chatting, not chatting. You're misusing this time to talk about your sex problems. All right. Hey, here's Connor Smith. He said, transgenders for Trump. You guys are funny. You guys are very funny. There are a lot of transgenders who support Trump, like Rudy Giuliani. You probably know he was a transvestite at best. Maybe not completely, but at least he played one in this political hit. Yeah, have you ever seen this one? It's really funny. Here it is. Hear that deflating sound? That's me not really being happy showing it to you. Ooh, darn. Yeah, it's strange. I used to have it queued up, and now it's missing. Huh, I wonder if Giuliani got in here and grabbed it. This is crazy. Let me bring you Henry Kissinger first. He'll be the fluff girl. It's really a new world order. Hello, Donald. Could I have a foot rub, Mr. Donald?
Everybody knows Dr. Kissinger.
Hello.
And
hello.
we're right now talking about Russia
Russia.
and various other matters. We're talking about Syria. And I think that we're going to do very well with respect to Syria. I think things are happening that are... You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
I like that.
This may be the best of all. Oh, you dirty boy! You. Oh! Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try.
You know, that was not a folly board. That was an actual slap. Rudy slapped the president there. Yeah. That was... You've never seen that? Dead baby fetus. You never saw that? Interesting. Truth about CIA control of the news media. 153news.net's got it. Thank you, Scissor Fight. We're going to bring that into a field of view in a second. There I am. Yeah. Truth about the CIA control of the news media. 10 minutes.
We had been contacted by the CIA. As a matter of fact, by the time I became the head of the whole news and public affairs operation in 1954, ships had been established, and I was told about them and asked if I'd carry on with them.
Interesting. We got a good show coming up on 153news.net called Truth About CIA Control of the News Media from Truth Known. He's just starting out, and he's got some stuff he's piecing together. A lot of this stuff we can't really play you on YouTube anymore because YouTube censors everything now. It's almost like, except for what I just played you, which is perfectly fine, I'm right in the center. I'm a centrist. I support gun rights, but I want to solve environmental problems. Without taxation. Yeah, it's an old school kind of thing. It's called innovation. Back when Henry Ford was our the manufacturing leader in America. Many of you youngsters don't remember the 1800s, but I certainly do, and I can tell you, without Henry Ford in the early 1900s, we'd be stuck back in another era. Yeah. Without the movers and shakers of the 1800s and 1900s, the geniuses behind modern U.S. invention, we truly would be set far, far back. So I have to remind everybody that Bell Labs created the first solar panel in 1975. So we've been making progress, but we haven't been leading in certain areas. And I kind of like Tesla in some ways, even though he's kind of out there. I like him because he's actually pitching an important issue, and that is American enterprise. He hires people, and they're building cars, and they're doing pretty well. The stock is actually doing quite well, considering. And his recent sale of his F-150, that's significant. His F-150 competitor, sorry, the Cybertruck. Yeah. Me, I'm more interested in blimp planes. I've been rather interested in blimp planes since I first talked about them with the engineers over at Boeing. I actually had a chance to talk about my blimp plane idea, and they were impressed, so much so that they started their own hybrid blimp program, which I thought was interesting. There's that program, and there's Lockheed Martin's blimp program. But blimps are the future because they save so much energy. The future of travel by blimp will be very real. And I believe that we can put parachutes on these. Although no one else in the world is talking about this, I am. And I believe that the technology to create parachutes for such structures is totally there. It's just foolish for us not to have parachutes in these big planes. Now, my idea is a little bit different than what they have, of course. They're talking about just building new ones straight up. I'm planning on building a pack that goes on top of the fuselage of old planes, old 707s. And here's an example of what I'm talking about. I sketched this up, and it's essentially, the concept is very real. We lighten the fuselage, take it down to its authentic aluminum and titanium substructure, stripping it down and forming a Kevlar outer seal around the blimp structure. The exoskeleton would provide impervious structural support, and we could fill it with hydrogen. And we can get these things to lift the plane up, and then from there, the plane's jets could be running with limiters at about half speed. These old jets could still be operational, and the jets are some of them still have engines and are ready to go. In fact, Amazon just revived a bunch of 707s and 737s are now part of the Amazon fleet competing with Federal Express. So there are about 7,000 of these hulls that are readily available for the U.S. government to take advantage of. So why not build these blimp packs and get these things up and running? The parachute itself could be blowout parachutes off the side. We could have one parachute in the front that deploys like right here, one in the back that could deploy. We could have parachutes on the sides that could deploy from both wings. Or we could have the substructure itself. As you can see, the lines here around could actually be netting, and it could actually open up as a large parachute the size of, 3 times the size of it. But the idea of plane travel being a possibility of crashing will be no longer a possibility. Crash-proof planes. All right, thank you for sharing. I like to bring in new technology in the evening. David, I'd like to report another instance of hearing your name mentioned in casual public conversation. This time I was in Jerusalem for the Christmas break. The conversation was at a local outdoor food market, and the discussion was your mobile medical units. Wow. Kiefer Boy. And I noticed that some of Kiefer Boy's statement was censored. Look at this. Now, whatever he said there was censored. I have no way of knowing what you said. Isn't that interesting? I'm not worried about people stealing my ideas. I'm here for you. I'm here for the human race. I'm not concerned about gaining money from anything. I've already given up the materialistic goals that many of you have. I'm not like Donald Trump. I'm not here to pad my pocket and get more wealth and pass it on to my generations. I'm actually here to help provide solutions for humanity. That's why I was born, I think. One of the reasons. I'm not here for a purpose to gain personally. Well, I could get credit, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm kind of an open source guy who believes in Creative Commons licensing. And although I have a few ideas that I do keep secret, I don't tell them because I plan on making prototypes of these ideas. I really can't share them with you. But the ideas I talk about in the show really are bigger than me. They take companies like Boeing and Lockheed Martin to make that happen. So that's why I'm so popular worldwide, because it's not about money for me. Exactly. That's true. And I realize that's a big, huge selling point in my life, is that people have a real interest in knowing how we can solve this problem on Earth. And we have all the solutions laid out pretty much. We've given it a lot of thought. Bringing the United States of America back is central to this concept. In case many of you didn't know, the United States of America has been bankrupt for decades, since 1933. And part of the money that we'll need to restructure and build this new America that we're talking about back to the United States of America will be some sort of an infrastructure bank which will be required to fund technological growth, as well as giving 2% loans out to U.S. businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. And that'll be the key to stimulating this private sector. 2% loans are very attractive to people, and even the student loans we can amalgamate into one large debt note with a fixed rate of 2%, which means when you pay back your student loans, it'll go directly to the principal for the most part. Whereas right now you're paying just the interest for a long, long time, and that's not good. I can't give you that money for free like Elizabeth Warren, because she talks out of her butt. She has no clue as to what she's saying or the numbers that back her up. She's a liar. She's a known liar, Warren is. I can't give you the assurances that you'll have free education, but I can assure you a 6-week to 6-month training course learning to install things like solar panels, or maybe you want to be an emergency medical technician. That takes 6 months. But those jobs can pay anywhere from $20 to $25 an hour. And that much we can do. We can put that in the community college, set up course studies, start out small, but integrate with local businesses that are hiring too. And anybody who wants to offer an AA degree or a 6-week certification degree or a 6-month certification degree would be able to offer that for jobs that they need to fill. And they could couple that with a 2% loan from the U.S. government. So all this could be completely choreographed so that we could have people getting back up on their feet again with a decent wage salary, especially in lieu of automation and what's coming our way. Automation is going to be taking a lot of our jobs away. So we have to rebuild those jobs wherever they are. I'd like to build a drone institute out of the Navy, an organization that would be able to actually train people in the development of drone technology. I've been looking at the area I live, and the Naval Air Station has these jets that fly over us. And I'm so tired of the jets and their antiquated technology that I would love to spearhead a brand new institute of unmanned vehicle technology, combining solar power, wind power, a variety of technologies merging together, and create an unmanned aerial defense force. And in the process, we modernize the area. We'll still keep F-35s and F-18s on the island where I am, but it will no longer be a testing center. There are other options for testing the touchdowns of planes on aircraft carriers. I have another idea that might be very useful. So we'll be pitching that as time goes forward. I'm not going to tell you what the idea is, but right now our island is being used as a testing area for big jets over a 50,000 person population. And it's very dangerous. You would never vote for a woman, is that wrong? Not really. I believe a woman will be president someday. But some people are a little bit worried that maybe they'll have a hormonal problem and get all pissed off and hit the nuclear football. I don't believe that. I think that could be monitored at best. Women who are suffering from postpartum depression have that extreme emotional side. I could see how it could affect their judgment. Exactly. So building this third party is really what I'm all about. Getting our country back, I'm all about that too. Most people don't know that we're actually operating under the United States Corporation. It's not the United States of America. That's been in receivership. It really should go into Chapter 11 and we could bring this back. We could fund the new infrastructure bank with the money we get from it too. But it's a very simple plan, but it would require a lot of big changes by our government. Okay, back to the idea of how we can prevent pollution. These are ideas that would really be beneficial, and pricing up plastic is one of my central goals. It's not a carbon point legislation item. It's just charging for plastic bags. And in the process, we can provide a solution to the pricing of plastic. We take that money directly and put it into projects like this. River projects that actually go through rivers and pull plastic debris out of them. It could even be done worldwide. We could do this as a service for other countries, free of charge. But the cost could be coming from plastic itself. We would also work toward a plan at local businesses that would provide a receptacle where we can convert plastic into liquid forms like oil, kerosene, and diesel, or gas. This man did just that. He created this device that you literally put plastic into and dump it right in there, of all kinds, even styrofoam, and it melts it all down. It's the most incredible thing ever, and he needs to get support. He needs to get people to, stand behind him. And I would certainly work with this man and pay him a licensing fee to develop these devices with the money we get from the plastic. Now, at the same time, we'll be bringing in more plastic. He does an amazing job. This all melts it all back into its original form, petroleum. But we could also create more paper sacks, which is very important to our economy. So more paper sacks, new paper sack industry. It's not a repeat. I talk about these ideas over and over again, so I repeat them to people that missed them last week. Okay, guest 158? Thank you. Well, we are probably going to run a 24/7 show featuring really good stuff. That's in the works. You heard military fighters discuss your plans, and I walked right over and shook their hands and purchased them all around a 2B60, really? 2B60 is the most enigmatic drink in Israel. Nobody really knows what's in it. The drug ecstasy, really? Well, I had no idea. Well, you got some pretty interesting conversations going on there. Well, good for you, man. Right on. So these are ways in which we can actually address the problem without carbon point legislation, which doesn't seem to fly for a lot of people. Most people are not happy with the idea of being taxed for everything, but having to pay for a plastic bag that you could easily avoid by bringing a canvas sack with you, we'll sell canvas sacks too. They're very durable and would last years and years of use. I mean, we've got sacks that we carry around with us that are plastic. They're really durable plastic, and we use them over and over again. I have about, I'd say, 6 or 7 of these market bags that I carry with me. And some of them are fabric or like canvas, but they're durable and they're reused many, many times. So reuse and a larger recycling system will be in order. A Kazakhstan plane crash. Beck Air flight has crashed. 100 people on board crashes near Almaty Airport in Kazakhstan. We talked about the technology that Boeing's having problems with, the Super Max 737 Super Max 8. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I say no plastic when you can avoid it. That way we'll slowly wean people off plastic. And at the same time, we'll get rid of the plastic waste as we can directly, not just fund something that might work. Really make a transition. So the Boeing 737 MAX 8, I've talked about that plane. It's currently under review. They just found a bunch of emails that were generated prior to the approval of the plane. And they're determining that a lot of cover-up went on, and the CEO of Boeing has resigned over this issue. So they had a lot of people saying it wasn't a proper design initially. But I want you to see something here. Now, the 737 was one of the best planes ever made, but you can see that on the 737 MAX, the jet is way ahead of the wing. You see that? It's sitting all the way in front of the wing, and there's a lot of torque there. When a plane takes off, there's a tremendous amount of torque in different directions. There's nothing to do with the navigation system. There's I think, a structural flaw in this plane. But this pivot point right here and this junction point right here is very small. It's a small weld, and it has a tremendous amount of torque in both directions, depending on what exactly is going on. You've got the weight differential, the weight of the jet being front forward on the plane. That's a serious problem. See that? How front forward that thing is? It's like the weight differential's all off on this plane. So let me show you a 737, the old kind that was the mainstay of Boeing's fleet. Placenta time. Thank you. Almost finished here. And I'll show you the difference between the Boeing and this plane. And I don't know what they were thinking, but gradually they changed their design. Look at that. Look at the engine. Look at the weld. Look at the connections. See that? It's welded completely to the wing. Yeah, and it's more like in the center of the differential. The weight is more distributed. I consider that a major design flaw. And I have no avionics knowledge whatsoever. But common sense tells you, why would you put... This is the perfect way to do it. You know, this is the actual proper way. But the way the 737 MAX is, just too front forward. And look at, the weld there is super strong. And whatever push either way, when the thrust takes off, the push is much more distributed and controls the vast structure and substructure of the plane. It just makes more sense. So I really don't know what's going on over there. All I know is that simple logic tells me there's something wrong with the way the 737 Supermax has been designed. Now, that's not to say they can't fix it. Your niece was showing you her homework recently, David, and she flipped through pages. I stopped her in 73, an image of your airplane parachute idea. Really? Okay. Right on. Well, these ideas are all about exploiting the idea and sharing them with others. I'm here to give you guys great ideas and to solve problems. So you can take advantage of this time and enjoy the show or not. It's your choice. In the meantime, we are going to give you a show either way. The United States of America has $23 trillion in debt. And there's no real plan. The United States has $23 trillion in debt. There's no real plan to deal with this. So my big idea is to process the United States of America as a bankruptcy. Take back the original debt load and the equity we have at the United States, which is still stored at the World Bank. We have about $40 to $45 trillion in store for us. Use that to pay off this, and it still gives us $20 trillion to start the United States of America up again as a new corporate name. It's a very bold plan, but it could very well be the exact thing we need to get clear of our debt and start again. Not the United States. Yeah, it's the United States. Thank you. Thanks for the spelling typo. United States. There we go. Okay. Yes, Putin has compromat on David. What is compromat in Russian? Is this person you talk about, Mr. Putin? Does he have any power in the Russian Senate? No. Compromising material? You don't have squat on me. No. You don't have squat. You got a typo. There's a guy named David John Sponheim that exists, or did exist, And you people are so lost, you have no idea. Compromising material. You people, I've exposed this time and time again. But now it seems to be gone. Well, it's good I've got the original hard copy of that. Yeah. Yeah, apparently the Find a Grave site scrubbed my or not mine, but the person who died. Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, it's gone off the internet. Let's see if I can find it again. Hang on. Compromising material. Yeah, apparently there was a guy who lived in Minnesota. Here it is. Got it. He died in, 2002. Okay. This is the grave site of the guy who you're referring to, I think. It's not me. I'm David John, Jon, Sponheim. He's in Jasper Cemetery in Minnesota. He died at age 55. There he is, right there. That was David J. Sponheim. Yeah, that's the guy you think you got dirt on. I think that's what the guy who I think you have dirt on. He grew up on a family farm near Jasper where he attended country school. Then he went on to the military. He entered the U.S. Air Force in '65 and served through Vietnam, Cambodia, South Vietnam, as well as stateside. Yeah, his bio fits the guy I think you're talking about. Anyway, you can see how disturbing that was when I found this out, that this guy actually had a war record. But yeah, that's the person you're probably referring to. All right, this is it for tonight. I appreciate you coming in, man. Unique ideas to save the country, and that's what I offer every day. Okay, thanks a lot, Kiefer Boy, for sharing your concern about the show and helping to promote what we're doing here. Yeah. You have an idea in a book in mainstream, yeah. More commentary? No. Our extended show lasted till 5 more minutes, but I had to make a second video tonight on YouTube to replace the first one, because right around the halfway point in our show, at the 2-hour mark, we ran into a problem where we thought that we produced something that was dangerous, that could have been could have given us a strike. And I had no idea. Somebody said they got a strike for the same story, and I appreciate that. We are literally having to dodge all of the censorship tactics YouTube is using to stop people talking about the truth. And that's why we had to stop the show. I went private on the video before it was actually seen, and then I yanked it and deleted it. But I still have a copy of it. It's your bedtime. Good night. Take care. Guest 183. Sleep well. Okay, we got some stuff here. Let's take a look. You can't make this up. Right. F equals the 6th letter of the alphabet. Right. FFF equals 666. Okay. I'm not sure what happened to the audio here. Okay, there it is. Okay, signing off. Take care, everyone. Good night. Sleep well. Get some sleep. I know it is the only way we're going to deal with the incredible, difficult environment we live in. Is sleep will definitely help. Okay, take care. Good night.
My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good. Just turn my world around, cause you're the peace I find. If you sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true.
The Ford Mustang is the world's best-selling sports coupe. It is a brand